I think if the court overrules Roe v. Wade and does what is draft,
what we fear they will.
Well, if that occurs, I think we have to legislate it. We have to make sure we pass legislation making it a law that is the federal government says this is how it works.
In another situation where most of the country is on the same page, something like 64% of Americans do not want to see Roe v. Wade overturned.
You know, there's a whole range of things that are at stake here when we talk about eliminating Roe v. Wade and all the
same-sex marriage.
I mean, it's just ridiculous, in my view. And I don't think the country will stand for it. But I think what we're going to have to do, there's some executive orders I could employ. We believe we're looking at that right now. But I want to keep
employ them.
But look, it's clear that if, in fact, the decision comes down the way it does and these states impose the limitations they're talking about, it's going to cause a mini revolution. They're going to vote a lot of these folks out of office.
President Biden speaking with Jimmy Kimmel yesterday. The potential for the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade has a number of U.S.-based companies looking to expand employee health benefits to include wider access to abortion. Morning Joe reporter Daniela Pierre-Bravo is here to explain what some of these companies are doing and why they may have a harder time dodging legal challenges ahead. Daniela?
Good morning, Mika. Companies like Starbucks, Citigroup, and Amazon are expanding their travel benefits to include access to reproductive health care services. So if an employee at any of these companies needs to seek abortion services outside of the state that restricts or limits abortion, they can count with this travel reimbursement for now. But there are a lot of questions around whether or not they'll be able to sustain benefits like these should Roe v. Wade be overturned, and to what extent they face legal liability for facilitating abortion services. And they're already meeting resistance from GOP lawmakers. Senator Marco Rubio recently introduced legislation to prevent companies from writing off these costs. And Yelp is another one of those companies. Their health insurance already covered abortion care, but starting next month, Yelp employees will have travel benefits under their insurance program when they need to travel out of the state for abortion services. I spoke to Chief Diversity Officer at Yelp, Miriam Warren, who was one of those executives responsible behind the choice to expand this benefit to employees. Listen to what she told me about what influenced their decision.
Our employees have told us time and again that access to reproductive health care is important to them. It's important to their families. It's important to them that Yelp speak out on this issue and take a stand on this issue. It is fundamentally an issue of inclusion. When you think about the ability for people to be successful in a company, one of the big things is that they have to have autonomy over their own bodies. They have to be able to make their own decisions about their lives. And certainly when the threat of that being taken away looms large, our employees count on us to not only safeguard them and their families, but also for us to take a stand, because we have a platform that can allow us to not only tell people what we believe, but also to try to nudge other companies along on the same path. As far as legal complications go, obviously we will have to take the challenges as they come. But at this moment, our most important priority is the safeguarding of the health of our employees.
And in our conversation, Miriam mentioned something that I thought was interesting, which is this sort of shift in the employer-employee social contract that's unfolded during the pandemic. Companies have gone into people's homes for the last 2 years, and employees have a higher expectation of their employers. So not just for a paycheck, but a company who makes a stand for something that has a direct effect on their employees' lives and actually does something about what they're standing up to. And that may include, Mika, going to bat legally for their employees, depending on how the Supreme Court ultimately votes.
Wow. It's amazing how some of these companies are stepping up so far. Morning Joe reporter Daniela Pierre-Bravo, thank you for that report. And you can read much more of Daniela's reporting at knowyourvalue.com. Thanks, Daniela.